Well, you certainly can't keep Mesut Ozil out of the news, can you? Hello, welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now, today's video can only really be about one subject and one person, the controversial figure that is Mesut Ozil. Now, me personally, I've always had a lot of time for Ozil. I think he's a great player. I think he's always been a great player, and I think he's a really nice guy as well. He certainly appears that way. A lot of the stuff that he does for charities and all this, that and the other. Now, I personally don't have any issues with him at all. When he first joined a club in 2013, he was our record signing. I think we were all excited, wasn't we, that we was getting a player of that calibre after spending years of having to sell our best players to suddenly get a real quality player in. And I do feel as though for the first 2 or 3 seasons with us, he was brilliant. We won the FA Cup in his first 2 seasons. We finished runners-up in the league in the next season, and I think he got the record assist that year, didn't he, as well? So I thought he was brilliant. And then it seemed as though obviously Arsene Wenger left, and since then he's never really quite reached those same heights. Now, obviously, as the song goes, he was Arsene Wenger's man, and I think you can see the difference that there's been in him since Wenger's left. Unai Emery didn't really seem to have faith in him, did he? He left him out of the team quite early in his reign, and although he was forced to bring him back, it never really worked. The start of this season that's just finished, he was not really getting selected very often. But it did seem as though maybe his career was going to be revived when Mikel Arteta took over, because they'd played together in the team at the start of Mesut Ozil's Arsenal career. And it seemed as though he was getting selected every week. He was playing well. And it seemed as though maybe his career was going to get revived, but then of course the season was suspended because of the lockdown, and since then he's not featured. Now, he did come out today, of course, to try to explain that a little bit more, basically saying that yes, he had refused the pay cut that most of the other players agreed to, and he gave his reasons, which seemed for me to be reasonable explanation as to why he would. He said that the decision was that the players were rushed into a decision. They wasn't given any reassurances about where the money was going, how long it would be for, and all these kind of questions which anybody would have, wouldn't they? If you're offered to take a pay cut at work in those circumstances, you'd want the information, and Mesut Ozil didn't feel as though he was given that information, and also as well because of the financial commitments that he's got to his family, to his charities. He refused, which was his right. Now, he's going to get a lot of criticism for that, of course, because of the amount of money that he earns, but ultimately that's not really that important, that relevant rather, because the more money that you earn, your life changes, and suddenly your expenses and your outgoings to maintain that lifestyle become a lot more as well, don't they? So it's difficult for us to maybe understand that. Me personally, I've never earned anywhere near that sort of money. It's a dream, isn't it? But it's reasonable to assume that if I ever got into that position, or if I had ever got into that position, my whole life would change, and suddenly what your outgoings are every month become a lot greater. Now, he particularly was worried about his charity work getting affected, which we all know how much he does for charities. He's over the years he's contributed a lot, and he didn't want that to be affected, and I think that's actually quite commendable. Now, he's also mentioned that he feels as though his decision to refuse that, although he did actually say, I think it's worth pointing out, that he said he was actually prepared to take a bigger cut if these assurances were given to him. So I think we need to bear that in mind as well. But now he kind of does feel as though he's been left out of the team because of that decision, as opposed to any football reasons, and that does make sense when you look at the fact that he's the only player in the first team squad that hasn't been selected since lockdown. Is it a footballing decision when he was playing before? He was training every day, he looked to be fit, so I don't know. But yeah, it does seem as though it is now. Was that Mikel Arteta's decision, or was it above Mikel Arteta and he was told not to select him? If that's the case, then that's quite a worry, isn't it? Because Mikel Arteta is the head coach. He should be selecting the team. He should be the one who picks the players. And if that decision's taken away from him, then that's quite a worrying sign. If, on the other hand, it was Arteta's decision himself to leave Mesut Ozil out, due to that decision, then I suppose that's fair enough, because he's the coach and he's he picks the team. It seems to be not the right reason for me. The team, you should always pick the team that you feel is the best team to win any game. And as it's turned out, we've had a good finish to the season without Mesut Ozil, so Mikel Arteta's decision either way, or whether it's his or not, has been justified, I suppose, the fact that we won the FA Cup. But for me, you pick your best players and you pick your best team in every single game. And I just feel as though there was a few games, certainly, that Mesut Ozil could possibly have made a difference. And if he wasn't selected simply because of that, then to me that's not the right reason to leave him out. Now, the other thing that's come out today is that Mesut Ozil is basically saying that he's not going to leave the club before the end of his contract, which has got another year to run. That the club are trying to force him out almost. He's implying that, but he's going to stay until the end, and that the club need to come to some sort of agreement with him. If it's his reason was, if it was the other way round, if the club want to get rid of a player. If the player wants to leave a club, then they come to an agreement. And he said if it's the other way around, which it is, that the club needs to kind of come to an agreement with him. And I think that's fair enough. He is under contract. He's got no obligation to leave. And it could be that he wants to play football every week, go somewhere else. He might get an opportunity to. But again, you see, if it means he's going to have to take a pay cut, again, that's going to affect his abilities to his financial commitments. And I think everybody in the same position as him would consider the same things. Every time you're looking for another job or you want to change jobs, if that moving to a new job means you're going to be earning less money, then your whole life, it's going to affect your whole life, isn't it? And just because he's earning more money and living a different lifestyle doesn't necessarily make that any different. So you can understand his point of view. Personally, I would imagine you'd want to play football, wouldn't you? That's what it's about. He's quite a short career as a footballer, and you want to be playing while you can. He's probably not got that long left. He's in his 30s now. He's probably got one more contract left after this somewhere else, and you'd want to be playing, wouldn't you? For me, I would want to be playing personally, but I know it's not just that easy a decision. I do feel as though now this has come out in the open. One, I think it's good. It's good that he's come out and said what's happening. I do think the club maybe need to respond. Mikel Arteta maybe needs to respond, and it needs to be resolved. Whether that means Mesut Ozil stays and is selected or not selected simply on footballing reasons, because either he's not training hard enough, he's not doing that enough, or for tactical reasons, then that's fair enough. But he shouldn't be left out of the team now next season on this basis. That shouldn't be what happens now. If we've got him for another year, we're paying him the £350,000 a week. If he's fit and he's available and he deserves a place in the squad, he should be selected, regardless of anything else. And that's got to be the situation. And the club have got to sort this out, and they've got to sort it out quickly, because we can't have this hanging over us anymore. So I'm glad Mesut Ozil's come out with these statements today, because at least it means that he wants to move forward with it, which is good. Now the club need to do the same. Mikel Arteta needs to do the same. I'd love to see a statement from him in the next day or two, explaining his kind of point of view with it. Is this the reason why he's been left out of the team? Is there more to it? And at least that way, we can then hopefully draw a line under all of this, and a new season starting in a couple of weeks' time, starting afresh for everybody. Let's hope that can happen, because this has dragged on now for too long. It's caused a lot of issues with the fan base. It's caused a lot of issues inside the club as well, by the look of it, and it just needs to be sorted out, doesn't it? I've always got a huge respect for Mesut Ozil. I always will have. Whatever happens now over the next year, whether he stays at the club or whether he doesn't, whether he plays for the club again or whether he doesn't, I'll always have huge respect for him as a footballer, and also I say as a human being, because he does such a lot of great work for his charities, and I think that shouldn't be ignored. He's in a no-win situation, isn't he, in a lot of ways. If he has a good game for Arsenal, everybody says, well, for £350,000 a week, that's what you should expect him to do. And if he doesn't have a good game, then it's, oh well, he gets £350,000 a week and that's all he can produce, kind of thing. So he can't win either way, can he? So I think the whole situation now is just silly, really. And I think the fans need to forget forget all that's gone on in the past. Forget how much money he earns. You know, if he's playing in the team, let's support him, get behind him, and hopefully he can produce some good performances to help us move forward as a club. If he's not selected and he's left out of the team, then let's not talk about him. Because let's focus on the players that are being selected and playing for whatever the reasons are. You know, he's come out with his statement today. That's great. I do think the club needs to respond as well. Let's see what happens there. But it needs a line needs to be drawn under it, and we need to all move forward, both as a club, as a fan base, and also for the player himself. I think we just need to draw a line under it now, and it's done. So, you know, fair play to him for coming out in the press today, explaining things. It makes me understand the situation maybe a little bit better. I think there's been a lot of confusion over the last few months with it all, so it's good that that's happened. And I say let's try and move forward from it now. So that's it for today. I just really wanted to go over all of that stuff really that's happened. There's still no firm transfer news. There are a couple of rumours of new players that we're meant to be interested in, and I will be doing a video or two on those as well later on today or tomorrow, so look out for them. If you like the content on this channel, then please like, share and subscribe. I say it's a new channel, I'm trying to grow it. All the support I can get would be really appreciated. There's been a few new subscribers to the channel over the last day or two, so welcome to you guys. Hope you enjoy what I'm trying to do here. I will be doing some live stuff coming up soon as well. I'll be doing live podcasts and stuff like that, and once the season starts as well, I'm hoping to do a few more live reactions, you know, to the games, to the team selections, all that kind of stuff as well, and you know, maybe some watch alongs and stuff like that while there's still no fans allowed in the stadium. But all that's coming up later on, so there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on the channel. As I say, please get behind it if you can. It'd be great. I say all support is really appreciated. And that's it for today. So look out for some more video coming soon, and in the meantime, as always, come on you Gunners.